Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Mason Maggio. How's it going, buddy?
Doing good. Glad to be back on the show.
Okay, so you've had a pretty adventurous few months this season with all the things that you've been through, but overall, you're just pushing away and getting a bunch of opportunities.
Yeah, it's definitely been up and down. To start out the season, realistically wasn't great. With not making the show for Vegas and getting put into the wall at Atlanta, and then just been scratching and clawing trying to find reasonable opportunities to go out there and make stuff happen. And I think the last couple months we've been able to do that. We had made my Xfinity Series debut with MBM Motorsports at Richmond, and had a pretty good showing at Kansas. Was in position to finish top 20 before another driver's mistake, cost us what would have been a really good finish, but still ended up with the 27th, which wasn't bad. Still a decent day for Josh Rayom and the Rayom Brothers Racing guys that I was driving for. It's one of our best performances that we've been able to put together, and had a great run with AM Racing, and again, shout out to Josh Rayom for helping me put that deal together. We had a great run at Charlotte, and finished in the top 25, my first ever top 25 in the sport. Ran against some really competitive trucks, and showed a lot of good speed. So a couple good runs. I think we're slowly starting to turn our season around, and just trying to piece together a couple more opportunities that I have this year to run in both truck and Xfinity this year. So we'll just see how it all goes, and hopefully we can continue to have some more good momentum.
Yeah, so I know you've been making calls. A lot of this stuff for the most part, I know you've had some help, but it's just really been you trying to get this stuff together. What's that been like, learning how to, make business calls to teams, to sponsors, and all that stuff?
Yeah, I think in the garage area, I think I've established a pretty good foundation with a lot of team owners and a lot of people within the sport. Which I think is obviously something that's very important to have in order to move forward and be successful. Same thing goes with marketing. I've been thankful enough to have some really great partners this year as well as in the past with my late model racing, and we've been able to propel a lot of those partnerships into this year. And it's the name of the game, is just marketing and trying to see what opportunities can be presented for partners, and then for race teams as well. I've been fortunate enough to work with a lot of good people this year, and been fortunate enough to grow a lot of good relationships and continue to I feel like go down the right path to trying to put together results and work with the right people to make stuff happen. So it's a grind for sure. There's no question about it. But at the end of the day, when you get to go to the racetrack and get to drive race cars at 180 miles an hour, it makes it that much more rewarding.
So when making these calls and making connections in the garage, what's it been like to have a lot of those and to have people support? And I'm sure that means the world to you.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's huge for just the sport in general, right? I don't think me personally, I used to be a very quiet and reserved person. But at the same time, with the way the sport is, you've got to break out of that comfort zone, and to be able to just even if it maybe isn't the exact opportunity that you're looking for, you got to at least be open-minded. That's another thing too. So there's a lot of good people in this sport. It's just a matter of where you look and who you know. Same thing with the marketing side of things, and trying to find like-minded partners that want to grow both on and off the racetrack. And that's almost as important as actually going out there and racing. So it's been a learning experience both on and off the racetrack. Been learning a lot from my peers in the garage area as well as from other partners to try to help grow our brand and benefit from each other. But yeah, it's definitely valuable, and it's there's a lot of good takeaways from it.
Yeah. So I know there's a lot of racers who are in the same spot as you. If if someone's trying to get into this and do this like fine thing, what advice would you give to them if you could?
Yeah, just uh, never be afraid to go and talk to somebody that can present those opportunities, right? That's super huge. It's just to kind of break out of your comfort zone and not be afraid to go up to these team owners or these team managers. Um, Same thing with potential partners. Like don't be afraid to go to just giving an example, but like trade shows, don't be afraid to go to a trade show and introduce yourself and make sure you present yourself well and say, hey, I have these opportunities and I'd love to get you involved. Just to give an example, but that's huge with trying to make it in the sport is just who and what opportunities you can present to where it benefits everybody involved. At the end of the day, this sport is very much a business behind the scenes than it is racing sometimes, but that's the way it rolls. And growing a brand is extremely important. So if you can do all that and continue to pave your own way, then it definitely shows. So hard work and dedication, that's all it comes down to.
So, when will we see you next?
As of right now, I've got a handful of races for the remainder of this year that I'm trying to plan out. I'm very, very close with a couple of opportunities to drive in both the Truck Series and Xfinity Series for the remainder of this year. I've absolutely loved racing both cars and working with the teams that I've worked with this year. So, um, just working on piecing together some more partnership deals and trying to fit all the pieces of the puzzle together to go make it happen. But hopefully I should have something here soon regarding my next race and as well as future races towards the end of the year.
All right. Well, Mason, thanks so much for talking with us, and we'll see you down the road.
Sounds good. Thank you, Casey.